Jack Miller adjusted his headset and checked the transmission setup one last time. Your small apartment at Estacao Europa was designed to offer practicality rather than comfort. The walls were covered with space combat memorabilia, model ships, old flight suits, and photos from his military days. Outside his viewing window, the massive form of Jupiter dominated the sky. Going live in 5, 4, 3, he muttered to himself, clicking the broadcast button. Your profile image appeared on the screen and then moved to your face. At 38, Jack still had the sharp eyes and quick reflexes of his pilot days, although a scar on his left cheek told stories his viewers often asked about. Hello everyone, welcome back to Miller Time, he said with ease and practice. Today we have something special. I just got early access to the newest Squadron 42 update, and let me tell you, the graphics are insane. Comments immediately flooded the chat. Asterisk Nebula Rider 99. No way. How do you get early access to Asterisk? Asterisk Space Cadet 2157. The latest version already looked real. Must be an incredible asterisk. Asterisk Flight Sim Queen. My brother works for the developer and hasn't even gotten access yet. Asterisk. Jack smiled, reading some comments out loud. How did I get access? Let's just say I know people who know people. Former Squadron friends end up all over the place. He played a sequence on his console, and the screen changed to what appeared to be the cockpit view of an advanced fighter. The detail was remarkable. Every switch, display, and controlled surface is perfectly rendered. Outside the virtual cabin, stars twinkled against the darkness of space with a ringed gas giant visible in the distance. They completely rebuilt the physics engine. Jack explained as he grabbed a control stick and seemed to maneuver the ship. Watch how the thrusters realistically adjust to drift, and check out these new weapons systems. The view showed the ship approaching what appeared to be a space station. Other fighters with Earth Defense Force markings moved in formation around him. Notice the light reflecting off the hull plating and station details. You can practically see people moving around inside the windows, Jack said, his voice carrying genuine astonishment. The viewer count rose quickly, reaching numbers Jack had never seen before. Something about this broadcast was attracting unusual attention. This mission is a border patrol scenario, very topical with current tensions, Jack explained. Squad, form up on my wing, he said, apparently speaking to colleagues at AIT. The responses that came through his earpiece were surprisingly natural. Copy this. Lead. Moving to alpha position. Patrol pattern established. Sensors at maximum range. Jack's brow furrowed slightly. The voice acting sounded better than any game he had played before. Suddenly, the radar display in the cabin lit up with several contacts. Unidentified ships at Mark 227 heard a tense female voice in his earpiece. Not responding to screams. Jack hadn't triggered this scenario. His hands tightened on the controls. This is new, he told the audience. It should be a random encounter feature. The chat exploded with emotion. Asterisk Cosmic Gamer 42. These ship designs look luxurious. Are they adding aliens to this version of Asterisk? Asterisk Star Command. The details on these alien ships are incredible. Asterisk. Asterisk Deep Space Strategist. These formations do not have an eye on the game. They are using real military tactics. Asterisk. On the screen, what appeared to be alien ships moved with a strange, fluid precision. Their hooves had an ornate quality. Organic, with blue energy pulsing through vein-like patterns. Squad 42, this is Commander Reeves, came a firm female voice. We are observing Viction battle formations consistent with attack patterns. Hold position and await orders while I contact headquarters. Jack felt a shiver run down his spine. He did not select any mission parameters. The game seemed to be running on its own. Guys, I'm not controlling this scenario, he said calmly. I think something is wrong with mine. A proximity alarm sounded. On screen, the alien ships sped towards the human formation. Defensive positions. Their powerful weapons, shouted the commander's voice. Jack's hands automatically moved to the controls, muscle memory from his real combat days taking over. When the first bursts of energy lit up the screen, its viewer count reached 1 million, a record for game streams. But deep down, Jack was beginning to suspect that this wasn't a game. Commander Samantha Reeves stood on the bridge of the EDF Valiant, her posture rigid as she studied the star map. At 42, she had the confident bearing of someone who had earned her position through merit and battle experience. Her dark hair was pulled back into a regulation bun, and her uniform bore the distinctive emblems of 42 Squadron. "Status report," she said, her voice clear and direct. Lieutenant Lisa Cooper looked up from the console. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls as she displayed the sensor readings. "All nominal systems, Commander. We arrived at the border post. No unusual activity detected in this sector." Samantha nodded. "Good. Let's proceed with the standard patrol pattern. I want all sensors at maximum range." The Valiant was the command ship of Squadron 42, one of the Earth Defense Force's elite units. Its main mission was to patrol the border between human space and friction space, ensuring that the peace treaty signed after the First Contact War remained uninterrupted. In the fighter compartment below, Ethan Wright ran his hand over the smooth hull of his Raptor-class fighter. At 36, Ethan was the squad's tactical expert, with more combat experience than anyone except the commander herself. A faded scar ran from his right temple to his chin, a reminder of a difficult situation during the war. "She'll handle it just fine," said a voice behind him. Ethan turned to see Alan Jackson, the newest member of the squad. At just 24 years old, Alan was the youngest pilot ever assigned to 42 Squadron, and his natural talent caught the attention of the highest levels of command. "It's not about sticking together," Ethan replied. "It's about knowing every screw and circuit. When you're in the black and things go wrong, you need to feel your ship and not just pilot it." Alan nodded, trying to appear respectful, though his eyes betrayed his impatience to enter the space. "I have logged more than 3,000 hours in simulation." "Simulation?" Ethan repeated with a slight smile. "Well, here, the frictions don't follow the program patterns." The ship's comm system came to life. "All pilots to stations, prepare for patrol." In the preparation room, the pilots got dressed. In addition to Ethan and Alan, there was Lisa Cooper, who also served as the squadron's fighter pilot and sensor specialist. The fourth member was Carlos Diaz, the weapons expert whose marksmanship was legendary throughout the fleet. Commander Reeves entered, and everyone stood at attention. "At ease," she said. "Today's patrol takes us along Section 12 of the border. Intelligence reports suggest increased friction activity in neighboring sectors. Our work is just observation. We document, we report, and we don't get involved unless absolutely necessary. This is clear?" "Yes, Commander," they responded in unison. "Jackson," she added, looking directly at Alan. "You will fly in the right wing position. Follow their example and don't be creative." Alan nodded. "Understood, Commander." 20 minutes later, the four fighters of 42 Squadron launched from the Valiant. Their ships were the latest models of Raptor-class fighters, sleek and deadly, equipped with human and reverse-engineered friction technology. They formed a standard patrol formation and sped towards the border. The vast emptiness of space surrounded them, interrupted only by distant stars and the occasional asteroid. "Stay tuned." Samantha's voice came through your communications. "We are approaching the Toff City checkpoint." The pilots recognized and adjusted their course. For nearly an hour, they patrolled in silence, sensors scanning the darkness for any sign of activity. "Commander," he said, checking his readings twice, "I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations at coordinate 227.45. "Confirmed," Lisa added. "It's definitely not natural. The pattern suggests friction power signatures, but they are different in some ways." Samantha frowned, changed course to investigate, but kept a safe distance, with only weapons at the ready. The squad altered course towards the anomaly. As they got closer, their sensors began to provide more details. "Multiple vessels," Lisa reported, her voice tense. "They're using some kind of stealth technology that we've never seen before. This is why they initially appeared as energy fluctuations." In their displays, the outlines of the ships began to take shape. The designs were unmistakably friction, organic-looking hulls with patterns of bright blue energy flowing through them like veins. "I count at least 12 ships," Ethan said, "including what appears to be a capital ship. This isn't a patrol, it's a battle group." "Why would they bring a battle group into an uninhabited system?" Alan asked. As if in answer to his question, sensors detected an enormous increase in power from the friction capital ship. "Evasive maneuvers," Samantha ordered, "and send everything we're seeing back to EDF headquarters." Alan Jackson's fighter drifted a little closer to the friction ships than ordered. His curiosity overcame his caution as he tried to get better readings from the alien ship's sensors. Friction ships were unlike anything in the training manuals. Its hooves seemed to change pulses, as if the metal itself were alive. Jackson returned to formation. Commander Reeves ordered sharply. "You're getting too close." "Just one more moment, Commander," Alan said. "I'm detecting something unusual on the largest ship, it seems." A bright blue light suddenly shone on the nearest friction scout ship. Alan's sensor screamed warnings as a scanning beam passed by his fighter. "They exposed us," Ethan shouted. Evasive maneuvers. The friction ships spun in unison, their movements fluid and coordinated like a school of fish. Blue energy built up along their hulls as the weapons systems charged. 42 Squadron, we have been compromised, said Commander Reeves. His voice firm despite the danger. Return to the Delta defensive position. Lisa ensures that all data from our sensors is transmitted back to headquarters. Lisa's fingers flew across the controls. Transmitting now, Commander. But they are trying to block our signals. The first energy blast from a friction cruiser passed through Ethan's fighter, missing by meters. The space around them lit up as more alien weapons fired. Commander Reeves faced a critical decision. Standard protocol required them to retreat and report. But if they ran away now, the friction battle group would be free to advance towards the human colonies in the next system. "Commander, we are outnumbered 4-1. Carlos reminded her, "We should retreat." Samantha studied his tactical display. The friction ships were organizing themselves into attack formation. They were preparing to jump to the Aldrin colony. Negative, she decided firmly. If they reach Aldrin, thousands of civilians will die before reinforcements arrive. Let's get them involved and delay them as much as possible. With only 4 fighters against his fleet, Lisa asked. "Sometimes the best defense is a surprising attack." Samantha replied. "New plan. Omega combat pattern. Target your lead ships. If we can disrupt their formation, we could buy enough time for the EDF to send reinforcements." The 4 fighters broke the formation. Their engines glowed brightly as they sped toward the friction ships. Ethan and Carlos targeted the cruiser while Samantha and Lisa went after the support ships. Alan, however, noticed something that the others did not. "Commander, the big ship behind is attacking something big. Power readings are off the charts. Can you move closer for a better scan?" Samantha asked. "Affirmative," Alan replied, turning his fighter away from the main battle. Ethan and Carlos began their run to attack the Cap cruiser. Their fighters danced through enemy fire, launching a barrage of missiles. The friction ship's defenses captured most of them, but 2 missiles hit their target, causing blue energy to spill from the damaged hull. "Direct hit," Carlos shouted. Meanwhile, Lisa and Samantha engaged the smaller friction ships, using the superior maneuverability of their human fighters to stay ahead of the alien weapons. Lisa's targeting systems locked onto a power node on one of the enemy ships. "Shooting now," she said calmly, launching a precision attack. The explosion hit the alien ship, disabling its weapons. Alan brought his fighter up to top speed, circling around the battle to approach the mysterious larger ship from behind. As it got closer, its sensors provided clearer data. "Commander, I'm detecting massive energy readings." "This is not a normal warship," he reported. "It's some kind of weapons platform. There is a huge cannon being loaded. Target calculations suggest Earth. They're building enough energy to reach Earth from here." "That's impossible," Ethan said. "No weapon has that range." "The readings don't lie," Alan insisted. "And they are already 70% charged." Commander Reeves quickly reassessed his priorities. "New objective. We need to deactivate this weapon. All fighters converge on the platform ship. Use everything we have." The 4 fighters disengaged from their current targets and turned toward the massive friction weapons platform. Enemy fire intensified as the aliens realized that the humans had discovered their true purpose. They surrounded the platform with their best ships. Lisa noted, "We will first need to breach his defenses." "So that's what we'll do," Samantha said firmly. "Squad 42, come closer to me. Let's go in." Jack's stream went viral. Its viewer count was now over 3 million, the highest in streaming history. The chat was so fast that individual messages were barely readable, just a blur of excitement and confusion. "This has to be the most realistic game ever made," Jack said, still pretending to play. But doubt crept into his voice as he watched the battle unfold on his screen. In his apartment on Earth, Van Hayes, a college student who dreams of joining the EDF, watched Jack's broadcast with growing suspicion. Unlike most phone's viewers, Ben had a father who worked in military communications. The ships, the tactical displays, the communication talk, it all felt too authentic to be a game. Ben texted his dad, "Dad, check out this stream. I think someone is broadcasting real military footage." Across the planet, similar realizations were emerging. In a small office at EDF Intelligence Headquarters, analyst Karen Martinez was alerted to the flow by an automated system designed to detect leaked confidential information. She almost spilled her coffee when she saw what was happening. "Sir," she called her supervisor. "You need to see this now." General William Harris walked to her post, his face grim as he watched the stream. "How the hell is this being conveyed? Give me a secure line to opposition security immediately." Back on Jack's broadcast, viewers watched Squadron 42 engage in combat with the Vrixian fleet. The battle was unlike anything they had ever seen in a game. The physics were perfect. The unpredictable tactics. The danger is palpable. "Look at these maneuvers," Jack praised, his military experience allowing him to appreciate the skill demonstrated. "This is not scheduled air. No game could simulate such realistic combat." His suspicions grew stronger when he noticed that the controller inputs did not correspond to the actions on the screen. He wasn't playing anything. It was simply receiving and transmitting a feed. Karen quickly assembled a team to track the source of the transmission. "The signal is being routed through several relays," she told General Harris. "Someone hacked Miller's stream to use it as a distribution channel." "Turn it off," the general ordered. "It's not that simple, sir," Karen replied. "The hack is sophisticated. If we cut it off abruptly, we could lose the information coming from Squadron 42. Its data feed is embedded in the SING transmission." At his apartment, Jack received a private message on a secure channel, a channel he hadn't used since leaving the Army. "Captain Miller, this is EDF Intelligence. You are broadcasting classified military operations. Do not acknowledge this message during transmission. We are working to resolve the situation. Continue as normal to avoid mass panic." Jack swallowed hard, but kept his expression neutral to the audience. "These ship designs are amazing," he said jokingly. "The attention to detail in this game is unreal." Meanwhile, Karen delved deeper into the hack. "Sir, I found something. The broadcast doesn't just show the battle. It's showing this to specific people. The algorithm targets viewers with military experience, defense contractors, and influential media personalities. Someone wants this information public," General Harris realized. "But why?" At Europa Station, security personnel approached Jack's apartment. They moved silently, hoping to contain the situation without alerting viewers. In the chat, military experts were already analyzing what they saw. Retired *67 pilot. "These are not game mechanics. This is EDF's true combat protocol, *** defense analyst. The Vrixians now have stealth technology. This changes everything in *** military historian. If this weapon can reach Earth from that distance, no colony will be as safe as ***. Jack noticed these comments and his face turned pale. If what he conveyed was real, humanity was witnessing a pivotal moment in history disguised as entertainment. The security team arrived at Jack's door and prepared to break in. General Harris watched from the ground, torn between stopping the leak and allowing valuable information to reach the public. The decision was taken out of his hands when a message appeared on Karen's screen. HFY broadcast authorization. Admiral Stakengrant, EDF High Command. Karen turned to General Harris in shock. "Lord, this comes from above you. Someone high up wants this to be shown." The general's jaw clenched. "Find out who is behind this." Now, on Jack's broadcast, the battle continued to unfold, with millions of people watching humanity's best pilots fight against impossible odds, yet believing it was just an incredibly realistic game. 42 Squadron faced overwhelming odds. The Vrixian fleet surrounded them. 12 alien ships against your 4 fighters. The massive weapons platform continued to charge its planet killer weapon, now at 85%. "We need a plan," Lisa said, her voice firm despite the danger. "To read assault doesn't work." Commander Reeves studied the tactical display. "The asteroid field at coordinates 115. We can use it for cover and to break up its formation." The 4 fighters changed course, heading towards a dense field of space rocks. The Vrixian ships followed them, their organic-looking hulls glowing more brightly as they carried weapons. They are faster in open space, but our fighters are more maneuverable, Ethan said. We can use this. Inside the asteroid field, Squadron 42 split into pairs. Samantha and Lisa took the left flank, while Ethan and Alan took the right. The Vrixian ships slowed as they entered the field, their large size making navigation difficult. Now, Commander Reeves ordered. The human fighters darted between the asteroids, firing accurate shots at the leading Vrixian ships. Their smaller size allowed them to fit through openings that the aliens could not follow. Alan noticed a weakness. Vrixian ships cannot turn quickly after firing their main weapons. There is a 3-second window. Use it, Samantha ordered. Alan's fighter turned a tight maneuver that would be impossible for most pilots. He shot directly at a Vrixian cruiser right after it shot Lisa. The cruiser was unable to adjust in time, and Alan's missiles hit the engine section. The alien ship went out of control and collided with an asteroid. One less. Alan called. Meanwhile, Lisa identified the weapon platform's defensive pattern. Commander, they alternate shield coverage. There is a brief moment where the sections are exposed. Can we explore it? Samantha asked. Yes, but we'll need perfect timing and someone to shoot. Lisa replied. Ethan's fighter was hit by an energy beam. Warning lights flashed in his cabin as systems failed. My ship is damaged, he reported calmly. Weapons at 40%, critical shields. Step aside, Ethan, Samantha ordered. Negative, Commander, he replied. I can still fly. And I have an idea. Before anyone could stop him, Ethan sped toward the largest concentration of Vrixian ships. His damaged fighter passed through enemy fire, drawing the aliens' attention. Cover Ethan, Samantha ordered. Lisa prepared to attack the weapon platform when her shields changed. Carlos and Alan focused their fire on any Vrixian ships that were targeting Ethan. His skillful shooting destroyed 2 more alien ships, but the odds remained heavily against them. Lisa positioned her fighter for the critical shot. Ready, Commander, waiting for the shield to rotate. Ethan's fighter took another hit. His right engine exploded, sending his ship spinning. The stabilizers failed, he reported, his voice tight with pain. But I have their full attention. The Vrixian ships focused on finishing off Ethan, leaving the weapons platform momentarily vulnerable. Their shields changed just as Lisa had predicted. Now, Lisa screamed, throwing everything she had at the exposed section. Its missiles flew true, hitting the platform's power core. Secondary explosions flourished along its surface. The weapon's charge dissipated when the systems failed. Direct hit. Lisa called. Weapon power levels are falling. But the victory came at a cost. A Vrixian destroyer fired a concentrated beam at Ethan's crippled fighter. Their shields have completely failed. Ethan, Samantha called. It's okay, Commander, he replied calmly. My systems are gone. There's no escaping it. Instead of trying to escape, Ethan drove his failed fighter straight into the injured weapons platform. I always wanted to go out with a bang, he said. Alan tried to follow him. I can help you. Negative, Jackson, Samantha ordered. Hold the position. They watched as Ethan's fighter, leaving a trail of fire and debris, sped toward the Vrixian weapon. The aliens tried to stop him, but their gunfire only accelerated the destruction of his ship. To Earth, Ethan said simply, before their communications were interrupted. His fighter crashed into the already damaged section of the platform. The explosion was huge, much bigger than a fighter jet should cause. He overloaded his reactor. Carlos noticed. The chain reaction destroyed the Vrixiano weapons platform. Its organic metal hull shattered as energy cores detonated in sequence. Ethan did it. Lisa whispered. The remaining Vrixian ships began to retreat. Their formation was broken. Its main weapon was destroyed. Commander Reeves allowed herself a moment of sadness before focusing again. Squadron, regroup. Our mission is not over yet. Jack's stream suddenly turned black. Its millions of viewers stared at blank screens. Then the chat exploded into confusion and outrage. Asterisk game fan, 2157. What happened? Asterisk. Asterisk spaces 99. Server crash. Right at the best part, asterisk. Asterisk military buff 44. This was not a game. That was real combat footage, asterisk. Security agents finally entered Jack's apartment at Europa Station. They quickly secured his equipment and escorted him out. Jack didn't resist. He knew that what he was broadcasting was not a game, and the implications terrified him. "Captain Miller, you're coming with us," said the lead officer. "This is a planetary security issue." Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the stream's sudden termination spread quickly. Major networks picked up on the story, publishing headlines like the most popular game stream ever mysteriously ended, and Squadron 42 was very realistic. On online forums, conspiracy theories were multiplying by the minute. People who claimed to have military experience insisted that what they saw could not be simulated. Side-by-side comparisons of Jack's stream with known footage from the game showed clear differences in physics and battle tactics. At EDF headquarters, General Harris faced a storm of questions from his superiors. "The leak has been contained," he said. "Miller is in custody and the broadcast has ended." Admiral Grant, who authorized the broadcast to continue, seemed unimpressed. "The damage has already been done, General. Millions have seen this footage." "With respect, Lord, why did you allow this to continue?" Harris asked. "Because certain factions within our government wanted to hide the friction threat," Admiral Grant responded. "They believe that appeasing the aliens is our best option." "I disagree. The public deserves to know what we are up against." Karen Martinez worked tirelessly to track down the source of the hack. His team boiled it all down to an AI system designed to monitor military communications. It appears that the AI determined that the friction weapon posed an existential threat. "Out to Earth," she explained. "He bypassed security protocols based on emergency cancellation directives. An AI decided to leak confidential information." General Harris asked in disbelief. "Not exactly, sir," Karen clarified. "The AI was programmed to ensure that critical threats were not hidden from the public. He found that Jack's stream was the fastest way to distribute information widely." The debate over the leak continued, but public opinion had already been formed. Hashtags like Squad Heroes hashtag and Real Life Games hashtag are trending all over the world. People demanded to know if Earth was truly under threat. On social media, supporters supported Jack Miller. They saw him as an unwitting whistleblower who had exposed a government cover-up. His previous transmissions were analyzed for any indication that he might be involved in military intelligence. Ben Hayes, the college student who first alerted his military father about the broadcast, became an overnight sensation when he posted a detailed analysis of why the footage couldn't be from a game. His post was shared millions of times, adding credibility to the theories. In response to the mounting pressure, the Fed issued a carefully worded statement. "We are investigating reports of unauthorized access to military communications systems. We cannot confirm the authenticity of the recently transmitted images at this time." This vague answer only fueled more speculation. Recruitment for the Earth Defense Force suddenly increased, with young people inspired by what they saw in the stream. 3 days after the broadcast, Jack was sitting in a secure room at EDF headquarters. He was questioned extensively but claimed he had no idea how his system had been used to broadcast the battle. "Do you understand the gravity of what happened?" asked the intelligence officer who interviewed him. "Yes," Jack replied. "But tell me one thing. Did they make it? The pilots of 42 Squadron. Did they survive?" The officer's expression softened slightly. "This information remains confidential, Captain Miller." Jack leaned forward. "These people are fighting for all of us. The public deserves to know what's going on." "Maybe," the officer admitted. "But this is not your decision." Outside the room, Admiral Grant watched the interview on a monitor. He turned to General Harris. "Prepare a press conference. It's time to tell the truth about Squadron 42. General Harris nodded solemnly. "Yes, sir. What about Miller?" "He is a war hero turned involuntary broadcaster," Admiral Grant said. "He could be exactly what we need right now." The 3 remaining fighters of 42 Squadron faced a difficult situation. Although they had destroyed the Vrikshin weapons platform, 8 enemy ships still surrounded them. Their own fighters took damage and lost Ethan. "We need to regroup," Commander Reeds ordered. "For my position." Lisa and Alan got their fighters into formation. Both ships showed battle damage. Warning lights were flashing in their cabins, and fuel reserves were running low. "Communication with EDF headquarters is still blocked," Lisa reported. "We are on our own." Samantha checked her tactical display. The Vrikshin ships were also regrouping, forming a fighter formation. Without their primary weapon, the aliens seemed determined to eliminate the human combatants who humiliated them. "The nearest EDF outpost is 4 hours away at top speed," Alan said. We cannot escape them. Then we will fight, Samantha decided. But we need to be smart about this. She studied the battlefield, looking for any advantage. The remains of the destroyed weapons platform floated nearby, along with several steroids and battle debris. I have an idea, Lisa said suddenly. Vrictions communicate using quantum entanglement. If we can disrupt that signal, they won't be able to coordinate their attacks. How do we do this? Alan asked. Lisa pointed to a specific piece of debris from the destruction platform. This section contains your communication matrix. If we can reactivate and overload it, we could create enough interference to disable fleet coordination. It's a big gamble, Samantha said, but it's the best option we have. Lisa, you know more about their technology. You will lead this mission. I'll need covering fire, Lisa replied. And someone needs to get close enough to the array to manually trigger the overload. Alan volunteered immediately. I can do this. My fighter does the least damage. And I am the most maneuverable. Samantha nodded. Then everything calmed down. I will confront the Vrictions directly to get their attention. Lisa guides Alan to the communications matrix. They separated, each with their assigned task. Samantha's fighter directly attacked the Vriction formation. She fired missiles at the leading ships and then swerved sharply, drawing fire in pursuit. Meanwhile, Lisa and Alan approached the floating remains of the weapons platform. Lisa's sensors scanned the wreckage, looking for the communications network. There, she said, highlighting a section on Alan's screen. That's what we need. Take care. You may still have active defenses. Alan guided his fighter through the debris field, dodging floating pieces of the destruction platform. His ship barely made it through the narrow spaces between large sections of alien technology. Behind them, Samantha was fighting a desperate battle. His fighter darted between asteroids, using them as shields against friction weapons. She managed to destroy another enemy ship, but her own fighter was suffering heavy damage. Hurry, she called calm. I can't hold them much longer. Alan reached the communication matrix. It was a strange, organic-looking device, with pulsating blue lights still active on its surface. I'm in position, he informed me. What do I do now? Lisa guided him through the process. There must be a central node. You need to get close enough to overload it with your fighter's power systems. Alan positioned his ship next to the array. Following Lisa's instructions, he connected his fighter's power system to the alien device. Warning lights flashed on his control panel as power was drained from his ship for Vriction technology. Power levels are dropping, he reported. Ship systems failing. Just a little longer, Lisa insisted. The overhead is increasing. The communication array began to pulse faster. Energy spread across its surface, growing in intensity. Samantha's fighter took a direct hit. Its right wing was torn off, causing it to spin wildly. Commander, Lisa called in alarm. Focus on the mission, Samantha ordered, struggling to stabilize her damaged body. Hip. Alan's fighter was now completely dark, all energy diverted to overloading the alien device. The communication array glowed brighter and brighter, the energy reaching critical levels. It's working, Lisa said enthusiastically. Just a few more seconds. The Vriction ships suddenly stopped their attack on Samantha. They seemed to sense danger in their communications. Several turned toward Alan's position, carrying weapons. They're coming for you, Samantha warned. Get out of there now. Too late, Alan replied calmly. I can't move without energy. But the overload is almost complete. The Vriction ships fired on Alan's position. Their energy weapons shot toward each other. You defenseless fighter and the brilliant communication network. To Ethan, Alan whispered as the alien weapons approached. 3 days after the broadcast ended, a press conference was held at EDF headquarters. Media outlets from across Earth and the colonies gathered, eager to hear the official statement on what many now call the Squad 42 incident. General Harris took the podium first. Thank you everyone for coming. Today we will cover footage that was broadcast 3 days ago during what appeared to be a game broadcast. Cambridge glowed as he continued. After careful consideration and in the interest of transparency, we can now confirm that what viewers witnessed was not a video game. It was real combat footage from a covert operation. The room exploded with questions. General Harris raised his hands for silence. Please let me continue. The footage showed Squadron 42 and an elite Earth Defense Force unit facing off against a Vriction battle group that was preparing to test a long-range weapon capable of reaching Earth from the outer colonies. The screens behind him displayed official images of Squadron 42's fighters, along with data on the Vrixian threat. Due to the courageous actions of 42 Squadron, the weapon was destroyed before it could be used. However, this victory came at a significant cost. The general's voice became solemn. Lieutenant Ethan Wright sacrificed his life to destroy the Vrixian weapons platform. His courage saved countless lives, and he will be posthumously awarded the Star of Valor, our highest military honor. Images of Ethan appeared on the screens, showing him in his uniform, proudly standing next to his fighter. I will now introduce Admiral Grant, who will provide more details. Admiral Grant approached the podium. His stern face showed the weight of recent events. The broadcast you witnessed was not authorized through standard channels, he explained. An AI security system determined that certain elements of our government were trying to hide the Vrixian threat from the public. The AI acted in accordance with its prime directive to protect humanity from existential threats, including the threat of disinformation when planetary security is at stake. Murmurs spread through the crowd as reporters tried to process this revelation. Regarding the situation of 42 Squadron, the Admiral continued, I am pleased to report that, despite serious injuries, Commander Samantha Reeves and Lieutenant Lisa Cooper survived the encounter. They were rescued by reinforcements who arrived after communications were re-established. Relief filled the room. Then someone screamed. And the newcomer, Alan Jackson? Admiral Grant paused, his expression unreadable. Lieutenant Jackson's condition was unknown until 12 hours ago. His fighter was considered destroyed in the final moments of the battle. The room fell silent. However, the Admiral continued, a small smile breaking through his official demeanor. Lieutenant Jackson survived. As the Vrixian weapons converged on his position, the communications matrix he was overloading detonated first, creating a quantum disturbance that temporarily displaced his fighter partially out of phase with normal space. This protected him from weapons fire and disabled all Vrixian ships in the vicinity. Gasps and applause filled the room. Lieutenant Jackson is currently recovering our medical facilities. His unconventional thinking saved not only his own life, but also those of his squad mates. The doors at the back of the room opened. Jack Miller was escorted by security agents. Admiral Grant gestured for him to join them at the podium. As for Captain Jack Miller, whose stream was used to broadcast the battle, he was ineffective of any irregularity. In fact, his comments during the broadcast proved invaluable in helping the audience understand what they were witnessing. Jack approached the microphone. I just want to say that the real heroes are the men and women of Squadron 42. What they did was not a game. It was true courage, a true sacrifice, and they deserve our respect and gratitude. The press conference continued with questions from reporters, but the message was clear. Earth faced a grave threat, and thanks to Squadron 42, humanity would live to see another day. In a nearby hospital room, Alan Jackson watched the broadcast with Samantha and Lisa at his bedside. His body was bandaged, but his spirit remained intact. So we're famous now, he asked with a weak smile. That's what it looks like, Samantha replied, placing a hand on her shoulder. What does it feel like to be a hero? Alan thought about Ethan's sacrifice, about the split-second decisions everyone made in the heat of battle. It seems like we were just doing our jobs, he replied, as any other squad would have done. Lisa shook her head. Not just any squadron. Squadron 42. Outside the hospital, the recruiting centers were awash with young men and women inspired by what they had seen. The battle that was mistaken for a game had awakened.